Hi and Assalamualaikum. I'm Siti Aisyah binti Hasim. Together with my friends Hamisa, Mimi Shamira, Nadia Ardila and Nidnu Najwa, we will discuss the company that we have chosen, which is Nestle Malaysia.
Assalamualaikum to our beloved lecturer Dr. Sri Ayu Masuri. My name is Mimi Shamira binti Nasir. I will start on the presentation where our group has selected Nestle Malaysia Berhad as a real company analysis in Malaysia. Nestle is known as a multinational food and beverage company that established in the nutrition, health and wellness. The company is founded by Henry Nestle in year 1866 and their business operation is present in 191 countries around the world. Nestle Malaysia Berhad started their commercial operation since 1912 and operates 6 factories which employs more than 4,600 employees. They produce over 500 halal certificate products. Nestle Malaysia Berhad offers 9 categories of products. So first, the company should understand the industry that the company is operating in terms of their condition and environment. There are a few of key success factors for Nestle Malaysia. First is effective and sustainable growth strategies. To ensure the sustainable growth, Nestle need to maintain and amplify their relevance and reach across all consumer segments by catering to their specific needs and aspirations. The product should always available across all channels and consumption moments. Next is nurture the love of Malaysian consumer for Nestle brand. They should always aware that the consumer today are spoiled for many choices, so they need to continuously work on the brand's strong emotional link as they provide value and nutritional proposition, so that the product always remains as a preferred choice for consumers. So the industry and strategy analysis it is for to achieve for a platform value where it has the ability to earn for a return on capital in the excess of the cost of capital that determined by the capital market. Okay, the first choices is industry analysis. It also known as Porter 5 Forces analysis. It is a tool for a business strategist based on the observation that the profit margin vary between the industry, and the primary purpose of this analysis is to determine the attractiveness of an industry. There are 5 forces modern analysis of Nestle Malaysia Berhad. The first one is competitive rivalry. The company that operates under food industry mostly faces the most intense competition. So the competitors such as Dutch Lady or Farm Fresh, where they produce the same product as Nestle, it can be a threat to the company since they may spend more on the marketing and advertising. So even Nestle had more experience in the industry, they still need to face the competition from the other brand. Next is threat of new entrants. This analysis will identify the entry barriers within the industry, so the industry with a high barrier to entry will lower the risk of new competitor. Next is bargaining power of supplier. This analysis will identify the changing price, quality and services of suppliers without consequence. So, the power of supplier can change due to the seasonal or economic cycle. As for Nestle, if the supplier unable to offer a good price, they can switch to other supplier because they have the strength from their company's brand. Next is bargaining power of buyers. Food process industry is variable and rivals can come with a numerous product selection. So, for example is Maggi, the product has a strong market share and they remain constant as a favorite among the nation. So in order to keep strengthen their brand, they should produce many selection of products. So last point is threat of substitute product. This analysis will identify the consumer of company might switch their purchasing alternative. So there are some allegations against of the Nestle product which they are not being healthy for consumption. So this strategy can lead to increase the sale of substitute among the health conscious people.
Nadia Ardila binti Imam An-Nazari. I will continue with the competitive strategy analysis. First, competitive advantage is product and brand. Nestle is the world's largest food and beverage company that have more than 2,000 brands over 7 categories from global icons to local favorites and are present in 187 countries worldwide. The company's main products are powder and liquid beverage, milk product, ice cream, confectionery, and pet care product. It owns several major consumer brands such as Nescafe, Maggi, KitKat, Milo, and Purina, including other prominent brands. This allows Nestle to better satisfy various customer needs and wider target in consumer segment. Research and development capability. They have 34 R&D centers spread around the world and over 5,000 people working, which make them be the largest R&D network of any food industry. And the last one is geographic presence. Nestle operates and sells its product in 190 countries around the world, and its 308,000 employees committed in enhancing quality of life and contributing to a healthier future. The company are based in the Switzerland, where it found more than 150 years ago. The cost leadership strategy. Nestle purchased the highest quality of raw materials from different suppliers in the market, and because of that, Nestle was unable to maintain low cost leadership strategy in the industry due to the cost of production is higher as compared to the small business company. However, they focus on achieving this goal through cost-efficient operations, quality assurance, and effective inventory management. To maintain this strategy, it requires Nestle to a continuous search for cost reduction in all aspects of business. This includes controlling production costs, increasing asset capacity utilization, marketing, research and development, and customer service. So the current strategy of Nestle is to purchase the high quality of material with the best price from reliable supplier. The second strategy is differentiation. The main purpose of this strategy is to create a brand image in the mind of Nestle consumer and to differentiate their product from other competitors. Most of their products are easily identifiable because of their features, quality, ingredients, packaging, and others. The product also manufactured with strict quality and health standards. It can be seen when Nestle provides capabilities and resources to support its R&D to deliver innovative, good quality, and nutritious products. A global alliance between Nestle and Starbucks was established in 2018 and launched in Malaysia in August 2019. They have presented Starbucks at home coffee range that enable consumers to enjoy the premium Starbucks experience at their home. Strategy analysis. This strategy is a strategy that focuses on gaining long-term revenue, profit, and market value through managing operation in multiple business. The company always pursued a policy of expansion and diversification of product to achieve more balanced structure to the business. To stay ahead of the competition, Nestle centralized expertise, diversification, and innovation into their products such as in their nutrition, health, and wellness strategy. For example, they have provided some new innovative products for children such as Milo NutriPlus. Nestle also have adapted and expanded their portfolio with relevant products that resonate with consumer demand. From the perspective of economy, Nestle have shared its knowledge and expertise with local and medium companies. Here, they can help the entrepreneur to compete in new free trade environment that will benefit both industry and economy. They also have a collaboration with the local government to provide technical assistance to farmers in planting and harvesting crops. By having their own local production of raw material, they no longer need to import raw material from other countries where they can save cost of purchasing.
Okay, we are moving on with the financial analysis. There are a few analyses that can be used. Firstly, using liquidity ratio. It is ability to turn other asset into cash to pay off its liability and other current obligations. Okay, under liquidity ratio, there is a current ratio. Current ratio is used to measure the ability of Nestle to pay its current liability using its current asset. As we can see from the table that from 2016 until 2018, the ratio has increased, but then in 2019, the ratio was decreased. This is due to the decrease in both current asset and current liability. This will indicate that Nestle has a lower liquidity. Okay, next is quick ratio. It is to measure the ability of Nestle to cover its current liability using its current assets. As we can see that in the table, the ratio increased every year starting from 2016 until 2018, but then it has dropped in 2019. Here, overall, we can see that quick ratio is lower than the current ratio. So there is a possibility that Nestle current assets are more depending on its inventory. So as a conclusion, Nestle do not have enough liquid asset to cover their debt. Okay, the second analysis is leverage ratio. It is to assess the ability of a company to meet its financial obligation. Okay, the first one is time interest ratio. It is to indicate how many times Nestle can cover its interest charge. From the table, we can see the ability of Nestle to cover interest has dropped from 2016 until 2018, but then in 2019 it has increased. From this table, we can conclude that in the last 4 years, 2016 was the highest interest. A higher interest ratio is favorable because the company presents less risk to the investor. Okay, second is debt ratio is to measure the ability of Nestle to pay its liability with its asset. As we can see from the table that 2016 has the lower ratio. The lower the ratio, it is better for the company's positions. Okay, next is debt to equity ratio. It is to evaluate how much leverage Nestle is using. As we can conclude from the table that 2018 has the highest ratio. Higher leverage ratio tend to indicate a company with a higher risk to a shareholder. People tend to have a low debt equity ratio because their interests are to be more protected. Okay, next one is efficiency ratio. It shows how well a company uses asset and liability internally. First one is inventory turnover. It is to measure how many times Nestle has sold and replaced their inventory. From the table, we can conclude that 2019 ratio was the lowest. Low turnover implies weak sales and possibly excess inventory. Okay, next is asset turnover. It is to measure the ability of Nestle to generate sale from its asset. We can conclude from the table that 2018 was the highest. Higher turnover ratio means the company is using its asset efficiently. Okay, next is account receivable turnover. It is to measure the Nestle effectiveness in collecting its receivable. As we can see from the table that the ratio in 2016 was the highest in the last 4 years. It has decreased rapidly in the 2017 and 2018. It indicates that in 2016, the ratio in collections of account receivable is the most efficient. But then in 2019, the ratio has increased again as the both sale and average gross receivable was declined. Okay, the last one is account payable turnover. It is to measure how many times Nestle pay off its account payable. From the table, we can see that Nestle has a stable payable ratio in the last 4 years because the ratio is in between 3.3 times and to 3.5 times. There is no major increase or decrease in the measurement of the ratio.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Najwa binti Zainuddin, and I will continue the presentation of financial ratio with profitability ratio analysis. Profitability ratio are financial metrics used by analysts and investors to measure and evaluate the ability of a company to generate income relative to revenue, balance sheet assets, operating costs, and shareholders' equity during a specific period of time. High ratio means that the business is performing well. The ratio is most useful when it is compared with the previous periods. So there will be 5 ratio that I will be presenting, and I will present it one by one. Okay, now we have gross profit margin. It is an indicator of company's profitability. The ratio is used to count the amount of gross profit for every ringgit sales. Based on the gross profit margin above, it shows the decrease from 2016 to 2017. However, it came back in 2018 and it decreased back to in 2019. Then we have operating profit margin. It measures the operating profit margin of the company for every 1 ringgit sales. Based on the operating profit margin above, we can see that it increases each year from 2016 until 2019. Then we have net profit margin. It is also referred as return of sales, reflects the net profit for every 1 ringgit sales. Based on the operating profit margin, based on the net profit margin above, shows that there is a steady increase for the year of 2016 until 2018. However, in 2019, there is decrease. Then we have return of total assets. It is a ratio that indicates the efficiency of company in utilizing its assets. It reflects the amount of profit for every 1 ringgit assets value. Based on the ratio above, it shows the steady increase for every year from 2016 until 2018. However, there is decrease in 2019. Lastly, we have return of common equity. It measures the ability of company to generate profit from the shareholders' investment. It reflects the amount of profit for every 1 ringgit of the common stock equity. Based on the ratio above, it shows the steady increase from the year 2016 until 2018. However, there is decrease in 2019. Then I will proceed with market ratio analysis. It is used to evaluate the current share price of a publicly held company stock. Current or potential investors use this ratio to determine whether the shares are underpriced or overpriced. First is a price-earning ratio. It measures the relationship between the market price of a share common stock and that stock's current earnings per share. It reflects the market price against the earning of the company. Based on the ratio above, we can see that there is a steady increase from 2016 until 2018, and there is decrease in 2019. Then we have market-to-book ratio. Market-to-book ratio measures the relationship between the market value of a share to its book value. It reflects whether the market price of a share are undervalued or overvalued. It is simple. If it's bigger than 1, then it is overvalued. Lastly, we have earnings per share. It measures the net earning of the company for 1 share. The ratio reflects the growth of the company's performance. Based on the ratio above, it shows the steady increase for the year 2016 until 2019. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Siti Aisyah, and I will explain the SWOT analysis. For the strengths, Nestle is the most renowned brand in the world. It has a respected reputation in the food and beverage sectors, offering high-quality products for everyday use across the globe. And also, Nestle is a highly diversified company, and it is also reaching almost the entire world. Instead of relying on a few markets, it has captured the sizable market in a lot of developed and developing countries to earn most of its revenue. We also can say that there is a high profitability ratio. Nestle is performing well by generating revenues, profit, and cash flow. It indicates higher operating profit, and increasing in net profit. And also, it has increasing in growth of share. So we can say that there will have many investors willing to invest in Nestle Berhad. For the weaknesses, issue on contaminated food recalls. Even Nestle maintains a strict control of food quality. Sometimes it still has to recall its product which is already been selling in the markets due to some contamination. In 2015, the Nestle Maggi 2-minute noodles released in India have been tested to contain dangerous level of lead that will affect the health of consumer. This has caused Nestle make a loss of hundreds of millions and also affect the other products at that time because of the negativity publicity from the world. And the second weakness is too large. There will be the situation where a large number of brands are all responsible under the same group. This situation will lead to the difficulty to manage and discuss, which due to the large number of individual brands that frequently cause conflict and in ideas or different of thought in management to be happen. For the opportunities, first is venturing small food startups. Nestle has fantastic opportunity to grow the number of small startups under its popular brand name. Nestle can collaborate with the new startup to promote its brand name. And the second is the online shopping. Nestle has remarkable opportunity to boost its e-commerce site and online shopping platform. Although Nestle has its online store in a few countries, expanding its online service to more areas will prove a rewarding decision for the company. Nestle should upgrading its online service to create a unique competitive advantage in the CPG. And the third is the expanding ready-to-drink tea and coffee market. The demand for tea and coffee is continuously on the rise, rendering a profitable opportunity for Nestle to groom this market more. Next, for the threats, first is government regulation and prices. For the government regulation or orders can affect the business operation of Nestle. For example, right now, Malaysia has facing the Malaysia Movement MCO, Malaysia Movement Control Order. The increasing prices of commodity forces the company to increase the price of its products, and it will lead to sales reduction as consumers can switch to other brands which are available at low cost. And the second threat is rising cost of labor and raw material, which is cost labor and raw material are growing around the world, leading to higher operational expenses. Higher operational costs in turn reduce profits and profit margin.